Hey, it's Matty Trumpet, mixandmastermysong.com. Today I'm going to go over gain structuring in Studio One. I'm not going to get very technical with it about what a 0 dB versus 0 dBFS and all that. You can read about that online. I'm just going to kind of show you what I do, which to me is more important as far as learning how this all works as opposed to reading about it. So the first thing is, why are we gain structuring? Well, there's a couple reasons. One is not to completely distort your master bus and push everything through it so it's overly loud and starts clipping and sounding bad. Digital distortion is not a nice distortion. Analog distortion can be, but you got to know how to use it right. Another reason is a lot of the plugins we use now are analog emulations. They were emulated to be just like the analog source. So if you're going in way louder than analog would usually go into the plugin's not going to react the right way, and you're going to be over compressing or just distorting the plugin, and it's not going to sound good. Third reason for me is I use analog hardware still, and so I need to be going in that at a certain level. For me, that's negative 18 dB. All my tracks are at negative 18 dB. All my masters are at negative 18 dB going into my master chain. And my converters are set to negative 18 dB, so everything equals 0 VU on an analog VU meter. But let's jump in, and I can show you just how this all works. And hopefully it will help you at home with your mixes and recording. I mean, recording is a big deal with this stuff too. I get so many distorted vocals these days, and it's really important if your levels are not, if you can't hear yourself, turn the beat down, not the mic pre up. That's what I always say. Anyway, let's jump right in. You can check this out. So I do it in 3 stages. The first stage is on the individual tracks, kicks, claps, whatever. The next stage is on my buses where I have drums, bass, music, vox, effects, and then some parallel stuff going on. You can check all this stuff out in my template video. And then I have the third stage, which is the master track, which coming into my mastering chain, I want to be at 0 VU, which is negative 18 on the meter, which is right around, right around here on your meter. Now, with Studio One, my biggest pet peeve is the pre-post thing. To me, the meters don't really mean anything because they're not the actual signal coming in. It's where your fader is. And to me, that's not very helpful. I've asked Studio One to change it on their forums. We'll see if we get that in an update sometime. So first off, a lot of tracks I get now are way too hot. Let's turn these plugins off, and I'll play this kick. And if you turn the VU on, you can see we're peaking out like crazy. So this is where this Hornet plugs in. Now, there's a couple ways you can do it. You don't need this plugin. You can just go and gain stage down this by a certain amount of dB, and then check here, and then see if you're hitting more around 0, which is where you want to be. So that's an easy way to do it. I got this plugin, and it's not necessary, but I like it because, let me just reset it. It just sets it for you. You hit the kick and hit auto. Let's turn it on, that helps. And it finds the peak and sets the gain down. And you just turn auto off. And now if you look at our meter, we're hitting 0, a little below. This is at negative 12. I usually kind of switch the scale on individual tracks just because I found it reacts better. But we're still kind of hitting negative 18 around there, negative 12's the peak. And that's fine. But if you see, these are our same meters as here, and we're hitting negative 12. Okay, so that gets our kicks in each track so that it's not getting, the level isn't, this is a 10 dB difference that it was going to go into my plugins at, which is over, so we would have been way over. And so now when I use, the console one, which is the emulation of an SSL, or what am I using? I'm using the British, which is the 1073 emulation. It's going in the way that was intended to, and the mix is going to sound cool that way. So next we go through here to our drum bus. Now, we're hitting 0. Everything is cool there. Now, one thing you can do, which I've already done, is you can see all these meters, all these faders are down below 0 where they started. So when this track came in, it was all super hot. So you can just grab all this. We'll bring it up just to show you. And if you look at our meter, it's now over 0, right? So I'll grab all the plugins, all the faders, and just turn it down until it's at 0. And then now your gain structure is correct and everything's good. And then you go to the next phase, which is here on our master. And now that's at 0. Now, this will get more complicated as we add stuff in. But it's still pretty good because I've already I brought these down to get the gain structure already. Now, so that's all set. Now, the cool thing about this Hornet plugin, and this is why I actually kind of use it, is it's the first thing on my master bus. Because as I mix, you'll be adding more plugins, adding more effects, compression, all this stuff, and you start pushing things a little more. And that's okay to push things a little more. I have plenty of room to get there. But because my master bus goes through my pipeline, which is my analog hardware, I don't want it to go above 0. I want to stay at negative 18 dB. So I just turn this Hornet on, and it probably won't be right now, but it's actually a little low because I haven't really got the mix going. But say we turn this guitar up. We'll turn this guitar up. Or more importantly, let's turn the kick up because that's what will really blow this thing. Then we hit auto. We can fix that. And then say I mix a little more and I have the kick up more. Fix it. And that's what's awesome about that plugin. It's a really easy, quick fix just to get your gain staging fixed, and it will fix it as time goes on. And that way, when I'm hitting my analog chain, everything sounds nice. And then where I like to push things and go way over and get things louder is here, because analog is a lot more forgiving of peaks and louder levels than the digital world. Digital clipping is clipping and it sounds horrible. I'm sure you've heard it before. This, especially this overstayer, can give me some nice warmth from the clipping and distortion. So anyway, I hope that helps you understand. I know I'm not the most technical guy with this stuff. I was just kind of showing you how I do it and how it works for me in Studio One. But if you want more information on it, there's tons of online resources that have the difference between it all. And it's good stuff to learn. I understand it. I'm not good at explaining it. But anyway, I hope that helped you guys out. Make sure to like and subscribe and check out the site if you need your songs mixed and mastered. Thanks a lot.